You have my full assurance that I will not disband the Senate. The Emperor told the small audience he'd summoned to his new chambers. Furthermore, I don't want you to think of yourselves as mere accessories, ratifying legislation and facilitating the business of governing. I will seek your counsel in enacting laws that will serve the growth and integrity of our empire. He fell silent for a moment, then delivered his bombshell. The difference now is that when I have taken into account your contributions and those of my advisors, my judgment will be final. There will be no debates, no citations of constitutional precedent, no power of veto, no court proceedings or deferrals. My decrees will be issued simultaneously to our constituent worlds, and they will take effect immediately. The Emperor leaned forward in the high-backed chair that was his temporary throne, but not so far forward that his disfigured face was placed in the light. Understand this. You no longer represent your home worlds solely. Coruscant, Alderaan, Chandrila, all these, and tens of thousands of worlds far removed from the core, are cells of the Empire. And what affects one, affects us all. No disturbances will be tolerated. Interplanetary squabbles or threats of secession will meet with harsh reprisals. I have not led us through 3 years of galactic warfare to allow a resurgence of the old ways. The Republic is extinct. Bail Organa barely managed to keep from squirming in his chair, as some of the Emperor's other invited guests were doing. Senators Mon Mothma and Garmbel Iblis especially, in what almost amounted to overt defiance. But if the Emperor was taking notes, he was doing so without most of his guests being aware of it. The Emperor's new chambers, the throne room for all intents and purposes, occupied an upper floor of Coruscant's tallest building, and in design more closely resembled what had been Palpatine's holding office below the Senate Rotunda than his former quarters in the Senate office building. Your Majesty, if I may, the human senator from Commenor said in a suitably deferential tone. Perhaps you could shed some light on the matter of why the Jedi betrayed us? As you are undoubtedly aware, the HoloNet seems reluctant to provide details. Well beyond the need to employ diplomacy or deception to achieve his ends, the Emperor made a derisive sound. The Order deserved all that it received for deluding us into believing that they served me in serving you. The complexity of their nefarious plan continues to astound me. Why they didn't attempt to kill me 3 years ago is something I will never understand. As if I could have stood against them. If it were not for the recent actions of my guards and our troopers, I would be dead. Palpatine's off-color eyes clouded with hatred. In fact, the Jedi believed that they could oversee the galaxy better than we could, and they were willing to perpetuate a war simply to leave us defenseless and susceptible to their treason. Their vaunted temple was a fort, their base of operations. They came to me with tales of having killed General Grievous, a cyborg no less, and sought to arrest me because I refused to take them at their word that the fighting was suddenly over, the Separatists defeated. When I dispatched a legion of troopers to reason with them, they drew their lightsabers and the battle was met. We have the Grand Army to thank for our victory. Our noble commanders recognized the truth of the Jedi's treachery, and they executed my commands with vigor. The very fact that they did so, without question, without hesitation, suggests to me that our troopers had some inkling all along that the Jedi were manipulating events. After all these weeks, we still lack confirmation that Viceroy Gunray and his powerful allies are dead, that their battle droids and war machines stand motionless on hundreds of worlds we can take as a sign of their surrender. At the same time, however, we must focus our attention on solidifying the Empire, world by world. Palpatine sat back in his chair. The Jedi Order is a lesson to us that we cannot permit any agency to become powerful enough to pose a threat to our designs or to the freedoms we enjoy. That is why it is essential we increase and centralize our military, both to preserve the peace and to protect the Empire against inevitable attempts at insurrection. To that end, I have already ordered the production of new classes of capital ships and starfighters, suitable for command by non-clone officers and crew, who themselves will be the product of Imperial academies, made up of candidates drawn from existing star system flight schools. No less important, our present army of clone troopers is aging at an accelerated rate, and will need to be supplemented, gradually replaced by new batches of clones. I suspect that the Jedi had a hand in creating a short-lived army in full confidence that there would be no need for troopers once they'd overthrown the Republic and instituted their theocracy based on the Force. But that is no longer a concern. By bringing the known worlds of the galaxy under one law, one language, the enlightened guidance of one individual, corruption of the sort that plagued the former Republic will never be able to take root, and the regional governors I've installed will prevent the growth of another separatist movement.